But he let me know right quick, you can go ahead and close that door, Hoss. That one's gone. And I sold it. And we're back. Two Ball Tires podcast. Heads up right over here. My buddy Jason Moses, Cledus T, Judd, Moses AutoMall downtown, not downtown, down at the bottom of the hill in Huntington right here. Now, a few weeks ago, we were sitting here and we got off on the subject about core values for your company and so forth. And we kind of took it a little bit different direction and ended up talking about employment and what you look for in those core values of somebody that would want to be a salesman or a finance person or a mechanic or a cleanup person right down to the cleanup shop. But let's expound a little bit more on how you operate based on those core values, Jason, if you don't mind, because I think the people that watch these things, would like to know a little bit of that background and what you look for in those core values, et cetera.
Sure. So we went through a session with a business coach, and the mission was to develop what are your core values. And before I get into how we develop them, I'm just going to talk about them first. And our core values are hustle, integrity, and caring. And we feel like that those three values are part of our business every day. And you have to have those three values as part of your makeup to fit in with our team. If you don't have those three values, we don't think you'll be here. You won't fit in with the rest of us. Those are the driving principles or values for our company. Man, with a business coach like that, it's do they teach you how to look for those? Yeah, so that's the next thing. It's interesting. So how do you look for them?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, so he goes, all right, so think about people that have been at think of people that have been involved in the company for a long time. And what do they do? And, my dad was one that came up, and Frank Donnelly was another one that came up. And I think I know Frank. Who that is. Frank, lots of people know Frank. Frank has worked here for, how long is it now, Nick? He's not quite 50 years, right? He's hit 40 years.
Oh, my God.
80s. He's been here since the 80s. And he's retired. He's tried to retire 3 times.
Can't do it.
He can't do it because he's always hustling. He's always moving. And so it's like, hustle, okay. My father, when we were talking about him, it's just, we talked about, how he cared about his people. He cared about his family. And caring came up, and then integrity. We don't feel like we don't want your money bad enough where we're going to lie, cheat, or steal to take it. We're going to do things with integrity. So Those are the 3 things that came up. But it was interesting. We found examples within the company, and then we built. Okay, those are the traits that those people have, and they've been here a long time, and they seem to work for our company.
I tell you, man, that Frank dude, he is definitely a hustler.
He is. He's been hustling here since, Nick just pointed out, 1981. He's been hustling since 1981. I was
a sophomore in high school when he was working here. Oh, my God. I was looking at a Volkswagen Passat out here y'all had. I think it was a Passat or something, and I'd had the door open, and I was just looking at the interior and stuff, and damn near got tackled. That's sold. I mean, he came out over here and pretty much in a sprint. I'm not going to say a full-on sprint, but he let me know right quick, you can go ahead and close that door, Hoss. That one's gone. And I sold it. So, man, I thought it was cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, Frank, he cares about this place. He cares about people in general. And he's always moving. He can't sit still. He's always hustling.
Man, and anybody that carries, you out of those 3, you might have somebody that has 70% hustle, and then do the math for the other 2 equations. But I think if you can encapsulate a little bit of all of those, you're going to be better off as an employee, and as an employer, you're going to be better off, because where they may lack in one of those three, they may make up in the other. Well, yeah, he's maybe not the biggest go-getter, out on the lot, but he's also a team player when it comes to helping out other people. And
Sure.
I guess you just kind of have to weigh all those things out as you go through, because not everybody be dang near impossible to hire somebody that's 100% all three of those, I would think. Not that it can't be done.
Well, 100%, I guess you're right. I mean, but they have all three of those traits.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe they're not the best hustler in the whole world out there, but they still hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it.
Maybe
That's
they're
what
not Pete Rose, but
yeah, they don't come in the home head
but
first.
they still hustle.
Yeah, dude. I think that's cool. And
They're not lollygagging around.
Yeah, and you can weed, and I know you try to weed those out before the hiring process or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
well, it's hard. It's hard to know initially. I mean,
get it.
The interview process.
Yeah.
Do you really have those things? We're looking for them.
Yeah.
And if we see them, we jump on it. But it's interesting because one of the things with integrity is like, how does someone have an example of integrity? Well, most of the time, it's the lack of examples of not having integrity is what you see.
Right. I think all three of those are undoubtedly they're super important. You wouldn't be able to run your business the way you do.
Well, they're important for us.
Yeah.
Not every company's the same. They have different values, but those are our values.
Man, how do you handle a situation where somebody comes in and maybe you've been doing it, or your people that do the hiring been doing it long enough to see through, somebody that's kind of blowing the smoke, as we say, just to get the job. Those people usually weed themselves out eventually anyway.
They do. You'd rather not have them. You don't want to make hiring mistakes ever because it's not good for the company.
It's hard, I can imagine.
And that's why I always tell our folks you hire slow and you fire fast. You take your time when you're hiring somebody. Just make sure that they're going to fit in.
I guess we don't need to get back in, but just out of curiosity, I don't want to go back into that because we kind of did that on the other episode, but just that process of how long does some of your guys, if somebody's going to come down and apply, what is the process? Does it take a while? Is it just kind of
It depends on the position, and each department manager has their own method of doing things. It probably is at least one interview, maybe two interviews in person, and it differs per job.
I've never really heard that saying, hire slow, fire fast. I think that may be one of the coolest things I've heard you say. I mean, especially when you got this many employees here, I guarantee you, I mean, how many chances somebody going to get, you can sit back and go, okay.
If someone's not a fit, you're doing both of you a favor by send them on find someplace else that we do fit, right? It's a favor for both parties.
Right. Well, that's kind of what you're going to get here. I mean, I know we've had 2 episodes, kind of touching on core values, the hiring process, the whole 9 yards. But just remember, be on the up and up, be truthful, be honest with yourself. I mean, these guys are pretty good at, hell, they hired me and they ain't saw through me yet. So y'all come on down and, man, we appreciate it, Jason. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time on the Two Ball Tires podcast.